What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to a very special edition of what? The 10-7 MMA. I'm your boy DS, and I'm here with my guy Dino Bam Bam. Dino Bam Bam. What's up, brother?
Just kind of absorbing this whole UFC 305, Dino. It was a little bit exhausting. It was kind of a long card, pretty damn boring until the end, if I must say so. It is what it is, man. We're here to do this post-fight recap, break down every fight of this card. This is a new thing that we should be doing.
Yeah, we're going to try to make it a regular thing. Don't expect it. We're not announcing it, but we're going to do our best.
Right.
Something I want to just mention real quick. I love what you texted me earlier. If you're not a regular of this channel, if you're not one of our 449 subs at this point, you may not know this. If you are, you might know this. Dino Bam Bam's mom is an avid UFC follower, connoisseur, enjoyer, whatever you want to call it. And you had me rolling when as the prelims officially were ending. What did you say to me? What did she say to you?
I don't remember. What did she say?
She said it was something along the lines of like, "Oh, now it's main card. Like I hate main card."
Yeah, she was like, "I hate main card." She was just breaking down like, now it's time for the main card. I hate this shit, basically. And it's just like, I feel you. But it's like, that's the reason we're watching. But she was saying it because, like, that's when the nerves start kicking in, right? The real shit starts coming. I don't like how
this wasn't even like a...
I was going to say, Dino, I don't like how it says host of the 10-7 MMA. What is this? We're co-hosts. Come on.
Oh, what the fuck?
How did you get that to happen? Are you trying to boot me? Trying to get me out of here?
What the fuck? I hate that. I did that as a joke that one time, and then you told me it was going to go away.
Hey, brother. Right now, that's it. You're the host. This is what's happening. That's what's happening.
I fucking hate that. Hold on.
It's all good. Just let's let it ride. Let's just let it ride.
All right. So, if you haven't yet, check out. We did a full main event breakdown already. So look out for that video. It's uploading right now. I don't know where you're gonna watch this, but we're gonna just fly through very quickly through the entire card at this point. And we're of course. Do you have all the fights lined up or no?
I do, brother.
Okay, first fight of the night was Stewart Nicoll making his debut, the hometown guy, strong wrestler, taking on Jesus Aguilar. And what happened in this one? Did it go exactly how you expected it to go?
I mean,
we both ended up, if you didn't watch our breakdown video, both of us chose Nicoll. And what did I text you as soon as the fight ended?
Said you should have trusted your gut, and I told you, I swear to God, same thing, man. Just a shitty pick by us. But look, Stewart Nicoll, not too much happened in this fight, man. There were some fun scrambles in that first round.
It's not like he looked awful either. He had some good moments.
He looked all right. There was some nervous energy, you could tell, but some fun scrambles. Nicoll essentially messed up, threw himself into a guillotine. We know that that's what Aguilar wants to get to. Aguilar wins the fight. And then on the
with his short-ass T-Rex arms, that's how he wins every fight, dude.
And then I loved his little like post-fight moment where they're talking to him. DC's interviewing him, and they're like, "Man, like, are you finally starting? You're getting on a little bit of a roll. That's 3 fights in a row. Are you starting to feel like yourself in this fight?" And he's like, "Yes, I want to fight in March." And it's like, all right, for sure. Like, I guess he wants to fight in March.
That's not like a statement. My boy March is like 8 months away. Like,
yeah, but that's what he's on. So,
if he was like, "I'm fighting in 2 weeks," that would be like, "Oh shit."
Right. But
he's
shit,
like, in 7 months. Like, okay.
Hey, fuck it. He's fighting in March, bro. Let's get that booked.
So there's that. But yeah, man. If you saw the breakdown video, just really quickly, I basically was going back and forth on this one. You were a little bit more adamant on the Nicoll side. I also obviously picked him, but I should have trusted my gut, like I said, man. Short reach, the wrestling seemed to be his kryptonite type of thing so far in the UFC. But yeah, he got it done, and yeah, should have trusted my gut. Jesus Aguilar is not like a bottom feeder. He's a good fucking fighter, man. Yeah. Let me ask you this just real quickly before we move on to the next fight. he got. It was weird how Nicoll got put to sleep by the guillotine, right? So I just want to ask you, and I know he meant well, probably Jesus Aguilar. He lifted his legs and did the thing. We see that often, right? You get the blood flowing back to the brain and all that. Let me ask you this though, personally, is that more or less disrespectful if you get slept and then somebody starts flailing your legs in the air like that?
I mean, it's a nice guy thing to do. Jesus Aguilar,
but for me, I'd be like, my boy.
Yeah,
once I wake up, you're toast.
Yeah, and look, Here's what I was gonna say. Jesus Aguilar, really nice guy by the looks of it. That's a friendly, nice thing to do.
Yeah,
Chokes
oh no,
me out.
I don't
Help
think
him
in
out.
any way that he meant anything malicious by it. It's
Right.
just like, my boy, don't shake my fucking legs like that in the
Oh,
air. I'm
personally,
not your
you
girlfriend.
know me. DS, you know me. I'd be fucking really upset. I'd be wanting to fight a la fucking Junior Tafa. We're gonna talk about in a little bit. Like, I'd be furious after losing. So, like, fuck you, get away from me.
Actually, the image of you getting your legs shaken like that is kind of hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
No, not me. Don't
All
do
right.
that shit. Yeah.
All right, we took too long on that one. We're gonna make it a little bit faster moving forward. Next fight of the night was, sorry, I'm pulling it up, was Kenan Song versus Ricky Glenn. And in this one, I believe we both had Kenan Song, correct?
Man, I don't even remember. You guys can watch the video and let us know how wrong we were.
I'm pretty sure. So Kenan Song basically cruised to what I would call a pretty easy victory. Just landed the better shots, landed the heavier shots, had Ricky Glenn wobbling at a couple points. Kenan Song, man, he's decent, right? We talked about, he's the guy that rocked Ian Gary badly at one point. I thought he could have finished this fight. Unfortunately, he didn't. For me, the weirdest takeaway from this fight is, first of all, the scorecards. And correct me if I'm wrong, 30-26, 29-28, 29-28.
Yeah, nuts. I mean, I
What
think
the
it was a pretty damn clear 29-28 song for me.
Me too.
Look, first round was close. Third round was sloppy.
And at worst, 30-27.
Yeah, right.
What round was a 10-8? Like, that's wild, bro.
I mean, the 10-8 is Kenan Song. If there's a 10-8, it's that second round by Kenan Song. There was definitely, there was like cries for it, I guess. Like, he did kind of land some big.
I know, but like, listen, I will say that I do think that 8s are not given out enough, but I don't think that was grounds for it. That was weird, dude.
No, I scored it a 10-9, but I did have in my notes here, literally verbatim, an outside chance of a 10-8. So I'm not like shocked by it, but it's a 10-9 for me. I had this fight 29-28 Song. I gave him the second and the third. I gave Ricky Glenn the first one. Probably took the round for me there. With some of the grappling, but whatever. He wins this fight, Song 29-28 or 30-27. I get 29-28 for Ricky Glenn. Like, I can see an argument for it. It was a close fight. It was kind of weird to score, but yeah, Kenan Song.
But nobody scored it for Ricky Glenn.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
In case there's like one of like the 7 Ricky Glenn fans in here and they're fucking heated right now. Like,
well, fuck them, dude.
It's a robbery, my boy.
Log up. Smart. All right. Third fight. So we had Tom Nolan, the biggest favorite on the card. I don't know what he closed at, but when we were looking at the odds, it was minus fucking 1100. Yeah. And I think it might have swelled up at some point above that. He was fighting Alex Reyes, Dominic Reyes' brother. This is at 155. Tom Nolan obviously ended up winning the fight by unanimous decision. Me and you both agreed during the breakdown episode that the odds were fucking outlandish.
Yeah, which they were. Tom Nolan, look, he's young. He looks good. He looks like he's improving. He's not a fucking minus 1100, man. I'm sorry. Not in the UFC, not at this point in his career. He won the fight.
I like what you said during the breakdown video, and I think we both were thinking the same thing, but you verbalized it perfectly. Is like, in what fucking fight should this guy be? And like,
yeah.
In no instance should he be an minus 1100 favorite. Like,
right, in the UFC, obviously, right? If he's fighting some fucking guy off the street, I get it. Or he's fighting somebody from like, a mid-level guy in LFA or like
we saw him get knocked out.
Right.
And again, this was supposed to be a gimme fight, and I mean, did he get the finish? No, he did not. And was it a pretty dominant performance? Yeah, it was. It was a pretty dominant performance, but. I mean, fucking Alex Reyes is beyond wash. This was an absolute gimme of a fight. The odds were fucking crazy. At no point did Alex Reyes look like he was threatening anything. But Tom Nolan showed great striking acumen, was mixing it up. He's still I still don't trust his chin. He holds the chin sky high at times. I don't love that. There's Alex Reyes is not the guy to test your chin, but somebody will soon. Right. So at those odds, I just think he should have finished the fight.
Also, one thing to note in this one, in the first round, there was a moment where Reyes had Nolan down on the ground and he threw an illegal knee, kind of hit him on the side of the face here. No point taken, which I really loved from Rich Mitchell. The refereeing tonight was great. I really think all the referees did a great job today. The officiating was fucking awful, but good on Rich Mitchell for not taking a point there. It was an accidental in the moment kind of thing. Didn't really hurt
Dude, the
Tom Nolan
officiating
too much.
was fucking insane. Like worse than Abu Dhabi in a way. Like and we'll
The
talk about
judges,
that a
you're
little.
saying.
What's up?
The judges, not the refs.
I'm sorry. Yeah, not the
Yeah.
the judging. Yes, sorry. I misspoke. Well, and we'll get to that in a second because some crazy shit did happen.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you got for this one?
Yeah, fun fight. Third round was fun. It was kind of a slugfest. It wasn't like Tom Nolan won the fight. It was kind of dominant, but he didn't put the guy away, which you would expect in minus 1100 that he would KO his guy in the first round. And I told you, man, and you were pretty adamant about it as well. He's not a minus 1100.
Absolutely not. That was fucking crazy to me. And we didn't even say sprinkle on Alex Reyes. It wasn't like that. It was just the happenstance, the facts of the matter of like, what the fuck? 1100 is fucking crazy. So,
legit.
All right, moving on. Next fight, another hometown guy, Jack Jenkins. One of the cooler names, by the way, as far as not nicknames go, just actual names go in the UFC. Jack Jenkins, pretty cool.
Tough guy name.
Leroy Jenkins. And he was taking on Herbert Burns, as we talked about it. A lot of brothers in this card. Alex Reyes, brother of Dominic. Herbert Burns, the brother of Gilbert. And more, right? There were three, Walter and all that. There were like 3 or 4 fucking brothers. 4. There were 4 fucking brothers, which is crazy. They must have done that shit on purpose. Jack Jenkins took on Herbert Burns. What did you think of this fight overall? Obviously, Jack Jenkins ended up getting the finish in towards the end of the 3rd round in this one, and deservedly so, I think.
Look, he beat the shit out of I wanted to say Gilbert Burns, not Gilbert Burns, but out of Herbert Burns. But look, Jack Jenkins, it was just a mauling. He was touching Burns up. He was hurting him. Herbert Burns, typical performance where, and I hate to be this guy, but again, we did call it on the prediction show, right? Like you expect Herbert Burns to quit. That's what he did. No knock on Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins was doing the right things. He was killing him to the body. He was just being.
You're saying he quit?
He did.
Oh, bro, beyond quit. He cowered like a little bitch. And again, I'm just a fucking guy sitting at my kitchen counter, right? But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not talking about me. We're here to break down the fights and the fighters. To quit 2 fights in a row like that, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here, dude. You have no place in this goddamn organization. That was beyond pathetic, and it was the most pathetic moment that I've seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, he's just, look, man, it just is what it is. He's not UFC level. His jiu-jitsu is great. Jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. His striking is nowhere near UFC level, and he's just not that tough, man. The thing about Gilbert Burns, his brother, if Gilbert Burns, like obviously an ADCC champion.
And what a difference between them two, bro.
And here's what I'm saying. With Gilbert Burns, he's a world champion in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, so he's got the fuck out of that too. But man, Gilbert Burns is an absolute dog. Like if there's anything, obviously you'll say the jiu-jitsu, but anything on top of the jiu-jitsu that Gilbert Burns has is heart. He is tough as shit, man. I mean, we've seen him dropped by straight rights, and his chin is a little bit sus. And
he was the first guy to humble Hamza.
And Dino, you got to remember, Gilbert Burns, a 55er who's fighting at 70. He's not a big guy. He's not a big guy at all.
Massive. You're talking versus Hamza, massive. And Hamza is like somebody who's probably naturally at 185. So fighting up pretty much 2 weight classes, and had his ass wobbled, had moments in the fight, could have damn near won that fight. I mean, so and then imagine being like, bro, I couldn't like imagine your brother's doing that shit, and then you go out there and you fucking cower, dude. Like that shit's crazy to me. Like have some respect for yourself.
We got the fucking Temu version of the brothers today, so that was cool.
Literally all of them. Yeah. And some better than others. I just want to give quick props to Jack Jenkins. I was always a fan of his. I never took him like super seriously. I will say today he made me feel like, not that he could be a future champ or anything like that, but he's maybe a tier above where I originally thought he could be, even as a fan back then. The boxing was incredibly crisp. The way he mixed it up to the head, to the body, hooks to the body, like fuck 1-2 hook to the body, like straight to unbelievable, crisp boxing. It looks like he's even improved on that. It was already a strong point. The wrestling was great, obviously better than Herbert Burns. He was landing good ground and pound shots, nothing soft about him. Jack Jenkins, man, impressive performance overall, despite how this fucker cowered at the end of it. So props to Jack Jenkins. We'll see what he ends up doing. Yeah, I like Jack Jenkins, man. I like him.
I'm with you.
All right, moving on. Next fight. We've got our first women's fight of the night. Casey O'Neill. She took on Luana Santos. We both took Casey O'Neill on the money line, and it was obviously plus money. She closed at a plus 125. I think it was like plus 160 or something when we broke it down. This was a fucking atrocious fight. I've really nothing to say about it. My notes here literally just says trash. So yeah, trash fight. One of the worst fights you'll ever see. Boring as fuck. I put it on mute. And I was listening to fucking Chinese soul. Like just bumping that shit. Yeah, I was not fucking with this. Boring as fuck. Couldn't even jerk off to it. Hated it.
Yeah, this fight sucked. I was like grilling, I was sending you pictures of my food and shit before. Like I was grilling.
I did like the score marks that you put in your dogs though.
You have to. If you got a glizzy, you got to score it. You got to get the little.
You ever seen those contraptions that put like a fucking pattern into it?
No, but actually maybe.
I'm gonna buy you one of those. It's like you put the glizzy in, you press the thing down, it puts like a fucking diamond pattern into it.
I'm down as shit. But yeah, my notes for this is very fucking boring fight. Decent first round, I guess. Like, there's nothing to say. It was just really boring. Casey O'Neill wins the fight. Luana Santos never really went forward. I legitimately started yawning at this fight. Like, towards the end of this fight, I was fucking exhausted. I had just eaten, too. I, like, scarfed down the glizzies and the hamburger and all that shit. So I was really
That was a good time to do it, though. That was a good time to do it.
Yeah.
All right, next fight, we had Joshua Culibao, the hometown boy, taking on Ricardo Ramos. I believe we both took Culibao in this one, and it was a split decision loss for him. How did you see this fight playing out? Did you think the decision was fair?
Yeah, the decision was fair, man. I had it 29-28 Ramos, and I'm okay with it. The thing that sticks out to me, and again, we were texting during the fights today, man, Joshua Culibao, holy shit, the IQ is fucking awful. I know you texted me that, so you were feeling it. Just like bad fight IQ, man. In that second round, he could have had the finish on Ricardo Ramos. He had his leg in all sorts of trouble and just kind of let him lay there. Like, yes, he was throwing some shots, but he let this guy lay down for like what felt like 4 minutes, but I'm sure it was like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. He just kind of let him recover for a little bit. The first round was fun as shit. Culibao hurt Ramos really badly. Just made a bad mistake and ended up giving his back up for like 3 minutes and almost getting choked out. So that's why I scored that first round for Ramos. Third round, really tough. Third round was pretty tough too, but Ramos got some dominant positions laid on the ground, and I do think that swung it in his favor. So 29-28 is cool with me. I can see an argument for 29-28 the other way as well.
I could too, but I do agree overall. I think Ramos, he almost had the submission win in the first round. You got to give him that. I think just based off that, he almost had the fight finished. I thought he did have it finished. Props to Josh Culibao to getting up after that. My biggest thing is like, dude, you had this guy he couldn't stand, bro. He couldn't stand. Joshua Culibao, great leg kicks, was absolutely, and we didn't talk about this in the last fight too, by the way. Jack Jenkins, amazing leg kicks. So this was a theme throughout this card. Culibao, amazing leg kicks, literally dropped Ramos by leg kicks. I want to say in the second round, right? So brutalize the legs. It's like, you just have a fighter with terrible fight IQ. You just dropped them. And by the way, I just want to say, yes, I do agree that Ramos won this fight. I still, in my heart, believe that he has fucking awful fight IQ overall, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. To me, it's like, bro, get that done, dude. Give it your all. Give it your fucking all, man. And sure, I'm not a UFC fighter, but I've competed in fighting. It's like, you can pull that out, bro. Dude's literally on the ground, bro. Kick his fucking legs, man. So, I don't know. To me, it's like, how did you not finish him? How did you not keep working him when in the early second round you dropped him with the leg kicks?
Yeah.
So overall, a fun fight. Action did slow down a little bit in the third. Ramos did win it. I will say, disclaimer, I told you I did go take a poop at this point, like with 2 minutes left in the fight. So I'm incomplete info on the third round, but I'll take your word for it.
It is what it is.
All right, moving on. Next fight, another brother fight. We had Valter Walker taking on Junior Tafa, and I know you have a lot to say about this one. So why don't you start us off? What did you think about this fight? Give me your talking points on this one.
Sure. So as far as the fight was concerned, it ended in the first round, but Tafa started kind of unloading on the feet as we expected he would. Valter Walker found a way to get himself a takedown. Dino, a little bit of a controversial finish towards the end of the round after some nice ground control and a little bit of ground and pound. Walker he went for a heel hook. Tafa yelled out, and the referee stopped the fight. Verbal tap is what
not yelled out. He literally screamed in agony, dude.
Yeah, multiple times. The referee stopped it. I'm okay with the finish. I get it. A guy yells, it's a verbal tap, like totally right thing to do for the referee. Not Valter Walker's fault at all. But here's what I hate.
I want you to keep going. Just a quick point based off what you just said, bro. Did Jamal Hill exclaim in any sort of way?
No.
And no matter what you think about Jamal, when he had his fucking arm split in two, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about all the fucked up injuries. When's the last time you heard a male UFC fighter fucking yell out in agony, bro? In worse situations. I'm not saying a knee bar is comfortable, right? But it's like, and then you're pissed. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so heel hook, he yells, whatever, the referee stops it. He immediately gets up to protest. Valter Walker celebrating, and I hated literally every moment from the submission, from the referee stopping it till the end of that. Junior Tafa, man, he walked up to Valter Walker after arguing with the referee. They kind of got forehead to forehead. He was talking some shit. He like lightly slapped him. It wasn't a slap to the point of like a Paul Daly.
No, I know, but
hitting Josh Koscheck. But it was one of those situations where it's like, dude, you're fucking touching this guy clearly in an angry way. Like if you watch later on in the card, Dan Hooker and Mateusz Gamrot, they kind of got in each other's face, like slapping each other's face, but it was friendly. It was like a good job, my boy. Like, one of those. This was different. This was animosity filled.
No, this was not that, bro.
It wasn't that at all. So he slapped him. And then at the end, man, as the decision's being read, Junior Tafa's flicking him off and he's just calling him a bitch and all this. And then I really hated this. If you rewind it and go watch that video, he points at Valter Walker's wife and he's like, "Is that your wife? Is that your wife?" Like, fuck your wife. Fuck that bitch. Like, clearly trying to get under his skin. And he kept threatening him, saying, "We're going to see you in the back. We'll see you outside." And it's like, dude, you're in your home country. You got all these big fucking Polynesian dudes with you. Like, this guy's fucking here with 2 coaches and his wife. And you're threatening to fucking jump him backstage. Like, where the fuck is that energy in the fight, right? You got fucking sub.
And that's what I text you when we were talking about it in the moment. It's like, oh, I'll see you backstage. My boy, you just saw him. You just fucking saw him.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
For me, that's fucking low class of Junior Tafa. UFC really needs to look into fucking cutting the dude. That's just like, you don't fucking go there with somebody's wife. You don't fucking put your hands on people after the fight. You don't fucking threaten fighters after the fight. Like, fuck that. Just low class. Yeah, I don't fucking like it at all. But congrats to Valter Walker. I'm happy he won that fight. Because if that's who the fuck Junior Tafa is as a person, then like, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Junior Tafa. What a fucking loser. I just want to say that. Great win for Walker. I just want to say this too. First thing is I was very, very impressed by the physique of Valter Walker. He looked like a typical fat, fucking sloppy, big ass dude. Not as sloppy as like, some of these guys, right? But like, didn't look in great shape. It was just a month ago, dude? Like, did he fucking fought? Like,
no, not a month ago, but a little bit.
Okay, no more than 2 months.
I don't know. I'm gonna check into it, but go ahead.
Look into it. But yeah, whatever it was a couple months.
It was April.
But to like go from like you're just kind of fat and sloppy to like, oh, you have a fucking 4-pack, 6-pack damn near, and you look fucking great. To me, this fight was very 50-50, and this is how I broke it down, and we pretty much agreed on this, if I'm not wrong. I said either Tafa's gonna knock him out in the first round, basically, or Tafa's gonna lose if it goes past the first round. And I guess technically we were wrong, right? But we didn't know how much of a piece of shit Junior Tafa was. And also, I don't know about you, I hadn't seen the difference in physique for Valter Walker. In a 50-50 fight like this, for me, that would have been all the difference. Great win for Walker. Very impressed by his physique.
I picked Valter Walker on the pre-show, just so you know.
I'm sorry, you did. I apologize. No, I'm sorry, you did. You did.
Come on, don't do me like that.
I apologize. I remember you did, and I knew that. Remember, I've been drinking. So, but no, you really did, and I would have too had I seen his physique before that. But whatever, who gives a fuck about that? The fact of the matter is, Walker, I don't think is bottom barrel. He's changed my opinion of him as a fighter. The physique alone would have been enough to do that. I appreciate that. Junior Tafa is like, I don't know, man. For me, it's like how you talking all that shit. First of all, forget that it's wrong to involve families. Forget that these guys are basically just at work, bro. Right? These guys are essentially damn near coworkers, right? And to bring personal, like there's fights that are personal, right? But even Conor McGregor isn't gonna. Sure, he went at Joe Lee and all this shit, but he didn't like say fuck Joe Lee, right? Point blank. So to take that kind of stance after you just again got dominated on the ground essentially, right? And you just got finished by this guy that you were just one-on-one with. Bro, first of all, you're a fat fucking flabby ass heavyweight, right? And you're not even at the limit. My boy, just lose 20 pounds and go to fucking light heavyweight, first of all. And he should do that, but light heavyweight's a little bit more skilled. He's going to get fucked up there too, man. I don't think he's long for the UFC. The lack of sportsmanship even just adds to that. Keep that same energy, my boy, to talk all that shit and be that trash and have such a glaring hole in your game on the ground in the wrestling. You should put that energy into something more productive and reserve it for improving your wrestling and ground game and maybe your physique as well. So not Justin Tafa. Justin Tafa's a good guy. Fuck Junior Tafa, fucking weird ass guy. I hated that. That was the worst moment of the night.
Big time.
Moving on. Next fight was Carlos Prates versus Li Jingliang, aka the Leech, Li Jingliang. Man, what is there to say?
Prates
Did you have Li Jingliang in this one?
I took Prates, but fuck, he's good, man. That's what I took away from it. I don't love Carlos Prates, but holy shit, sharp, nasty, powerful, defensively sound, mixes up
effortlessly levels. Powerful, dude. Effortlessly powerful.
Holy shit, mixes up his levels. We haven't seen the bonuses yet. Absolutely deserves a 50G bonus. Fun first round to start that fight. Kind of a leg kick battle. Prates started landing some hard shots. He would drop Leech every time he touched him. It felt like he dropped him 3 times in the first round, and it wasn't devastating drops. Dino.
And by the way, for those of you that don't know, Li Jingliang has never been finished until tonight.
Well, not knocked out, right? He had been subbed by
Hamza. I'm sorry. He got choked out by Hamza. That's fine. But
yeah. But dude, like just every time he was touching Leech, it seemed like the Leech kind of would freeze. He sat him down like 3 times, not like terribly, once into the fence, once on his ass, once he dropped him to a knee. They weren't like devastating fucking shots, but they were sharp and they look hard, man. It is what it is, dude. Carlos Prates absolutely filthy KO in the second, walk-off KO, slept Li Jingliang for like what felt like 2 minutes. Busted him up.
He was out cold, dude, for several minutes. DC was tweaking off it. I would say, due to the walk-off nature of it, knockout of the year contender, top 5 for sure.
Yeah, so far it's up there. It doesn't win.
Probably number 2. I would say probably number 2.
Maybe, and then we would have
at
to
worst, like 3. At worst 3.
It's definitely a contender. I'll say that. I'm thinking about what I have in my head and what I have in my notes for later on in the year when we do like the full year review. This needs to be mentioned. It needs to be mentioned. I'll say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much else to say there, man. Let's move on to the next fight. The next fight was, and I just fucking lost my place. Next fight was Jairzinho Rozenstruik. He took on Tuivasa. Man, this was a tough one to watch. Weird split decision.
Yeah, very fucking weird. The judge who gave a 30-27 to Tuivasa was relieved of his duties, as the UFC would say. He was supposed to be scoring.
That's got to be a first, yeah? No.
Second time. Yeah, second time that I could remember. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So, look, man, with this fight, Dino, kind of a point fight in the first round. Jairzinho Rozenstruik touching Tuivasa up. Tuivasa looked very hesitant, couldn't find his range in that first round. A better second round, though. Both guys started throwing some heat. The key moment of the round, Tuivasa threw a leg kick at Jairzinho Rozenstruik, where his foot hit Rozenstruik's knee. That caused a dead leg on Tuivasa. It looked like that was going to be the end. But he survived. Rozenstruik landed more and heavier shots in that round. He wins the second for me. Third round, a lot of tied Tuivasa, not letting go, like throwing with arms and then just not following through on punches, kind of half-ass throwing them, like holding up before they got there.
You're saying in the first round?
In the third round. Then it was just Jairzinho staying first and third, by the way. Yeah, but both rounds it was kind of the same thing. Jairzinho stayed sharp, stayed defensively sound. I knew in that last minute they were going to start to throw down a little bit in the last few seconds. Tuivasa kind of did the Holloway thing, like, let's fucking go. it just looks like it might be the end for Tai Tuivasa. Dino, he has a puncher's chance against anybody because he's big and he throws fucking hard ass meaty hooks.
Do you
But
think
I
it
mean,
is? I hope not, man. Like
I hope not either. But what was that, 5 in
because
a
of the
row?
fact that he's live against anyone, I feel, and he's so funny, such a fan favorite. It's like I feel like just let him stick around.
I agree, but I think he's lost confidence in himself, man. I know he knows
And
he's
that
alive
hurts my
against
feelings
anyone.
a little bit.
It is what it is. But yeah, 30-27 Tai Tuivasa is a fucking bonkers, banana ass fucking scorecard. I don't
And
know.
that comes from two guys who love Tai Tuivasa. That's fucking insane, dude.
Dude, I love Tai Tuivasa. We posted about him on our Instagram, which you can see at the bottom there, the 107 MMA. Go check it out. But yeah, fucking just nuts. Just a nuts scorecard. Whoever did that, you're out of your mind. That guy should not be judging MMA fights. He shouldn't be watching MMA. Yeah.
Literally.
Jairzinho didn't really impress me in this one either. I mean, he stayed sharp. He stayed defensively sound. He was a little crisp, but yeah, crazy to see.
Jairzinho did what he needed to do. Jairzinho,
yeah.
Yes. Fact of the matter is, until tonight, every single one of I think he had 8 UFC fights, have all been won by knockout. Fun fact. But yes, he does have power, but he's not like a reckless fucking power puncher, right? Jairzinho Rozenstruik is very technical when it comes, at least from a heavyweight perspective, right?
100%.
So, and he's defensively sound. So, and for me, what I noticed is Jairzinho definitely found his range first. In the first round, it was very clear that Jairzinho had found his range. He was more comfortable in the striking. And then Tai really didn't have a lot of output in the first round. And then in the second, Tai started landing some big shots, man. There was a point where I was like, he's about to knock him out. And then Jairzinho got out of it. And then Tai, because he was fucking just throwing haymakers, and he was throwing with speed too. You know what I mean? He was moving for a big dude. But then, of course, Jairzinho landed. The tide started swinging back his way. And then really the beginning of the end started when Tai tried to kick him, do a leg kick.
Yeah.
Kick the knee with his basically like the tip of his foot, his toes, and like the front of his foot, and Winston pain right away and was limping. But man, what a fucking warrior. Still continued to throw. But that was pretty much the writing on the wall. 30-27 is fucking crazy. And I'm glad that they made a move quickly like they did. As much as we shit on the UFC and the governing bodies at times, I do respect that. And then despite that, there were still some questionable calls after that. So,
yeah, man.
Anything else on that?
Nah, just it was decent. I'm shocked we got out of the first round and we ended up going to a decision.
I told you it would, brother. I told you it would.
You did say that. And I was calling you nuts.
Next fight. This was the fight of the night. Do we agree? Gamrot versus Hooker. Do you agree?
Yeah, it was probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Gamrot closed it as a -440 favorite, which I texted you at the time. I thought was fucking crazy. I don't remember what the odds were when we were breaking it down. I feel like it was a little bit lower than that at least. But yeah, I get it. Gamrot, premier wrestler. We've talked about this. We know who he is. For me, the first thing that stuck out is in the first round, the striking of Gamrot looked pretty good. Like he was willing to trade, and obviously he's not standing there and banging with Hooker. We know the power that Hooker has. He leverages his long frame. But I was still impressed relative to where we've seen him before, Mateusz Gamrot, that is. That, you know, the strides that he seemed to make, he was more willing to throw. He landed some decent shots. He actually cut Hooker at some point too. But ultimately, realistically, let's be real, what we expected to happen kind of happened, right? Except it's not the Gamrot one, though. It was a fucking another. I thought, who did you have winning this fight?
I scored it for Gamrot, man. Personally, I had it 29-28 Gamrot. I see the argument for Dan Hooker, and you texted me during that, and you said that's Gamrot's round, but that's an Australian 10-9 for Dan Hooker.
Yeah,
look,
exactly.
I give him the first. I give him the first 2 rounds. The first one was really close. It looked like Gamrot was kind of kicking his ass at the beginning of that first round. They both dropped each other in that round. It's just that Hooker's happened later in the round, so maybe it kind of sways the judges. Gamrot was just finding himself in weird positions, at the end of rounds underneath Dan Hooker, looking fucking sloppy. So that's kind of what caused them on the scorecards, I believe. But yeah, I had it Mateusz Gamrot 29-28. Tough fight, man. But yes, his hands were very damn improved. Unfortunate for him. Very fortunate for Dan Hooker. I know now we're going to get to see Dan Hooker versus a top 5 guy. That should be fun, but tough break for Mateusz Gamrot. I think that's a fight that he won. unlike the Arman Sarukian fight where I think he lost, but
there
tough.
There have been a couple fights where
Yeah.
pretty much every Mateusz Gamrot high level fight has been razor close.
Yeah.
And he's usually on the other end of these close decisions where it's like maybe questionable the other way. But you got to give credit where it's due. Hooker looked good. He held his own. Hooker did a great job. His best weapon against what does Mateusz Gamrot love more than anything? It's the single leg takedown, right?
Yeah.
And he did land a couple of them. But Dan Hooker, man, he did a great job using his frame and using the guillotine, which was surprising to me. I did not expect that, to use the guillotine as like a defensive weapon like that. He used that like 3-4 times, and it worked.
Dino, the guillotine, and I have that written down here. The guillotine was phenomenal. And then the other thing, when he couldn't get the gilly, what he was doing was he was throwing fucking elbows to Gamrot's head that were really bothering him.
No, they're like, yeah, he had good leverage, and I respected the fact that he's continuing to try to do damage. Before we move on, just an all-time entrance song by Dan Hooker
Vanessa
in
Carlton.
his hometown, in his home country, coming out to Vanessa Carlton. That was chef's kiss.
One more thing, one more thing about this. I got one more thing. I just want to say I want to make this clear. I love Dan Hooker. I like Mateusz Gamrot. I like Dan Hooker more than I like Mateusz Gamrot.
Me too.
So I don't want this to come off as like I'm saying it's a robbery. It was a very close fight. I understand 29-28 Hooker. I just think it was 29-28.
In fact, you corrected me when I called it a robbery, and you were right.
Yeah.
It was too close to say robbery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, whatever, though. The guy that we like won, but we're here to give you the facts and genuine, true analysis and opinion. Anyway, moving on. Co-main event of the evening, Kai France, who you had winning. I took Steve Erceg. Man. What is there to say about this one? Kai France landed a big fucking overhand right, dropped the fuck out of Steve Erceg. Was it potentially a little bit early? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I would argue that it was a little early, personally, and I'm not salty about it. I'm not like a fucking, Steve Erceg like fanboy, but I like the guy. I like Kai France too. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit early, but I get it. Steve Erceg landed some shots. But at the end of the day, there's not much to break down here, really. It's just the fact that Kai France landed a big fucking shot and got the fight finished.
Yeah, nasty overhand right, Dino. He's got serious fucking power for this division. Tough to see Steve Erceg go out like that. Again, the stoppage, I agree with you, slightly early, but I think we know where it was heading. Look, man, Steve Erceg, he'll be back. I know he will. The guy is an absolute he's a stud. I felt a little bad for him. You said you're not a Steve Erceg fanboy. I know you do like the guy. I genuinely don't really care for Steve Erceg, but it was kind of sad seeing him get dropped like that. But kudos to Kai France, man. Long layoff here, some injuries. The dude's got serious power, showed why he's been at the top of this division for a while. Yeah, just an awesome, quick performance, quick KO. Probably deserves 50K as well. Again, we don't know the bonuses yet, but that would be another bonus that I'd be giving out. Fight of the night for the previous fight. Carlos Prates deserves 50K. I think Kai France also deserves 50K.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to Kai France, a win that he needed too. And so now we're at the main event. First of all, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Hit that. What button should they hit? Sorry.
The bell, the thumbs up, all that. Those are the
all
buttons.
That shit. Follow us on Instagram.
All the buttons. Click all the fucking buttons.
Just hit all the fucking buttons, bro. But we have a full video. It's already live on YouTube. So we're not going to go into too much detail on this. It wasn't a big surprise, right? But at the end of the day, what happened? We both had Izzy go up 3-1, essentially, to varying degrees of confidence. And, of course, what happened? Dricus got the sub. He stepped on his foot, made him trip, landed some big shots, and then got the sub in the 4th round, to our dismay. What else is there to fucking say, man? I've said it all on the breakdown video. It's upsetting. This fight made me realize how much I do like Izzy, or maybe I'm just a fundamentalist and just an old school ass bitch, and I just want the champs to be champs, Yeah, it's unfortunate, especially because he was winning the fight. I got really nothing else to say about it, man.
Yeah, I'll just throw in a little bit. And again, if you guys want to hear our full breakdown for that, the video will be linked in the bottom of this. It's live right now. But look, Dino, I think we disagreed a little bit. I think, in my humble opinion, I think Izzy was absolutely just outclassing DDP in this one for my money. He was kind of kicking his ass. DDP, a good second round, used the grappling again. And I'll say this, our fight breakdown before this fight, I think my first 3 rounds, how I imagined they would go, was exactly how I went.
You picked it perfectly.
And I said exactly what it was. And then in the 4th round, I had Izzy TKOing Dricus. It turned out being Dricus finding a sub on Izzy. But man, what is there to say? Israel Adesanya looked great. He looked big. He looked healthy. He looked strong. He looked a little bit slow, a little bit labored, but I think that comes with the extra weight and the first time being in the octagon looking like that at 185. So that makes a little bit of sense. DDP, man, he was DDP. He was Dricus Du Plessis to a fucking T. He was tired. He was sloppy. He was fighting ugly. He makes fights ugly, and that's how he wins. The dude is just a winner through and through, man. I don't know what to say. I feel like how many more fucking times can this guy do it? But it seems like he always just finds a way to win when he shouldn't be winning these fights. It is what it is, man. Congrats to Dricus Du Plessis, and still wonder what's next for him. I assume Sean Strickland, if not the winner of Hamzat and Bobby Knuckles, your boy Robert Whitaker. We'll see what's next for Izzy, but just a fucking devastating finish for me as an Izzy fan. Tough to watch.
It hurt.
Tough to watch.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. It is what it is, though. That's the fucking game, and nobody knows it better than them, right? Especially somebody like Izzy. I did not like that Dricus was like, I don't know if he like I respect that he gave him his props and all that, and then he's like, if he retires, like, fuck you, dude. Like, why would he retire? He had you beat until he didn't, and I'm not coping. I'm not saying anything. He won, right? But it's just like, why even say that? Fuck you, you know. And I know they had a little moment at the end, and that's all good. But yeah. It is what it is, man. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's fucking 2 a.m. We're recording this for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. We're at 449 subs as of the making of this video. Get us to 450 at least. Damn. You can spare a little fucking measly sub. All right? You don't have to watch shit, just sub. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you enjoyed, do a DS in the bottom thing you're telling you, like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know if we're fucking wrong. Let us know if you disagree with us. Let us know what you think in general of UFC 305. Dino, I'm happy that 305 is now in the books. We are 94 pay-per-views away from UFC 400, and I cannot fucking wait for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.